Hi, Virgo. Welcome to March. So, before we get started, there's a lot happening astrologically, so you can watch a separate video that talks about Venus retrograde and Mars's move and Mercury's move and all that stuff. But I thought I'd save time and do a separate video for it, so just follow the link and you can see what's going on. Great, but I would never neglect the moons. So, here we go. Moons! Virgo, good news. You get a full moon this month. That's right. The Virgo full moon happens on March 12th, and it's in your first house of self. Now, I love a full moon in the first house. Also because I love the idea of reinventing myself. And that's kind of what the full moon's about. Like, you have the opportunity to release some of the mask that you wear into the world. It would be a really good time to cut your hair or start actually, like, probably I would say losing weight would be good. Not as good as if it were in your sixth house, but if you wanted to start some sort of regimen, you probably could. Anything that relates to how you see the world and also the view, I'm sorry, yeah, well, yeah, I got so excited. Anything that has to do with how the world sees you and how you see the world. And what does that mean? Come on, what does that mean? Well, basically, what that means is how you see you have a chance to release limiting beliefs that perhaps were instilled actually in childhood, in super early childhood, not quite in utero, but like right after. You can start to see things differently, and it'll affect your mask. It's like a give and take mirror situation. How you see things, things see you. That's deep, I know. But it's also true. You can't deny truth. So you have the opportunity to release some of those beliefs that you have that you wear on your face as a mask, and therefore people see you as that. And you don't have to be that anymore. That's what this full moon is about. It's about releasing. But since it's in Virgo, it's a very strategic way of doing it. So the best way to do it is to make a list. And I know you're already like salivating and grabbing your pens. But you can make a list about really around all the things that you want to let go of. Like what do you, great time to clean out your closet. Great time to like get rid of clothes that no longer fit, clothes that no longer represent who you are. Beauty product, get rid of beauty products. Just make a list of all the things that you no longer want, right? Start with that. I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be seen as this. And then you really go in and be like, okay, in the closet, this, once you Virgos have your heading, you got your heading that's like, this is what I want to release. And then you can go in and do the busy work, which is really, that's always hire a Virgo. They will get it done. So, and then the new moon, which is on March 27th, is in your 8th house. And new moon are new seeds, and it's an Aries new moon, so it's a super initiating new moon. So you have the opportunity to initiate deeper partnerships, not partnerships like one-on-one marriage and all that stuff, but like you may find yourself seeing more into the heart of people, seeing more into the subconscious of people. It's a Scorpio house, and it's an Aries moon, but the 8th house natally rules Scorpio in that traditional chart that you see everywhere that's like, think, here's the zodiac chart, and it's kind of empty and there's really nothing there. The 8th house is the Scorpio house. And I don't know if you know any Scorpios, but Scorpios are all about like, they're the detectives, it's the swamp. So you can like kind of go underneath it. It really is actually a good time for some detective work. If you ever wanted to find out anything about your family lineage, this would be a really good time to initiate something like that too. And since it's an Aries, like you might find that like something pops out of nowhere that in regard to the 8th house, which is also, it's the sex, death, and taxes house. Great time to get your taxes done. It really is. Sex. That's very true though too. There could be a quick affair that happens. There could be a quick sexual encounter, a very quick intimate encounter. I mean, it doesn't have to be sexual, but like the 8th house is all about the connection that leads to sex, the connection, the sacred connection of sex. you know, if you want to get all woo-woo on it, which sometimes I do, but you know, I like to keep it real. But that could very well happen, and this again is around the 27th. So that said, let's dig into the tarot cards. I'm using a Wild Unknown deck this month, and I gotta be honest, while the illustrations are lovely, the jury is still out on this deck. Tarot got kind of trendy, and I feel like this is kind of a representation of the trend of tarot. However, I decided to give it a chance and not be rigid about that. So, Virgo, what do we have for March for you? They do shuffle well. Virgo. All right. I'm just going to cut it today. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you know, there's nothing that's too crazy that's going to happen this month, it looks like. The King of Cups, the Father of Cups, the Four of Cups. Well, there's some foundational work happening. The Four of Pentacles and the Magician. So this is interesting. We'll start with, they call it the Father of Cups. Where's the best? Oh, it's so bright. It's almost best if I just hold it back. It's so bright. These lights are so bright. But I need something, you know. So the Father of Cups, that's what this is. It's basically the King of Cups. And what this is about emotional control. This is about feeling things, but then also distributing the feelings at will. It's not blocking the feelings, not in the least, but it's about distributing feelings at will. And then we have the Four of Cups, which is also tells me that this month might bring a little bit of, I don't want to say sorrow because I think that's too strong a word, but I do want to say that there may be some crap feelings that pop up every once in a while here that you're trying to control. And the Four of Pentacles. So there's like this foundation also of work, and it might have to do with your work or like wanting a new foundation in the way that you work, where you work, really the way that you work is what I get from it. And yeah, gotta listen to that. And then the Magician. So the last one, the last card, the Magician, kind of tells me everything I need to know about this month, and that is that you have the emotional tools. There we go. The emotional tools are all at your fingertips so that you can shift this situation, this physical situation. They're really, you know, I was kidding about the sex stuff because there are some astrologers and like tarot, all they care about sex. And I think that there's so much more to life than sex. It's an integral part of it, but I also think that you might have an opportunity to integrate a little bit of physicality into your life, there may be some serious like sex energy coming your way, which also might have to do a little bit with the sad emotion. It's not really sad, it's just almost like feeling sorry for yourself. You have the control to stop feeling sorry for yourself. You have all the tools to do it. It's like you just have to stop. Whenever it starts to happen, when you start to play victim, you have to stop and say, you know, I'm in control of this. This is actually emotional and it's not real. Because emotions are how we, I mean, it's like our thoughts and how we choose to like embrace our thoughts, embrace the things. Because I don't know that emotions are real. I'm sure they're real, yes, but they are able to be manipulated. Emotions we can decide how we want to feel. Now, I know it isn't always easy when horrible things happen, right? We should feel, I'm not saying be happy. I'm not saying take a pill, be happy. Absolutely not. But it's important you can manage. Manage is a weird word, though. You can manage your emotions more this month. You can manipulate, and I know that sounds like a bad word, but the Magician is manipulation. What do you think a magician does to an audience? He manipulates his audience into thinking, hey, this is what's happening, when really there's something else happening. But it's that front manipulation that you're able to do a number on with your emotions this month that's going to really come in handy for you. The Four of Pentacles keeps calling to me, and I'm not exactly sure what it wants me to say. I want to see it. Oh, rigidity. Rigidity. So, yeah, it goes along with everything that I just said. I snotted a little. I got so like, It's that emotional manipulation. You have to be like, I'm in control of my emotions because you've been so rigid about staying in a certain emotional place. And that's not good. You don't have to do that. You don't got to do that because it's not helping any. Especially with that eighth, like maybe this also has something to do with that fact that you're in the process of removing your mask. A full moon first house is like a removal of the mask. Full moon, release, first house, mask. Release the mask. And you know, you might find yourself in the midst of a little, not emotional breakdown because you're going to be controlling it. It's like the verge of an emotional breakdown. And then it's like logic kicks in and you're like, I'm in control of this. I see that for you. Just don't be so rigid that you think you can't emote at all, right? If you need to go home and cry in the shower by yourself, you got to go home and cry in the shower by yourself. I cry in the bathtub. I cry every time I get around water. It's just a good, you can control when you emote is the thing. Don't be so rigid to think, I can't emote because it makes me weak or whatever. Because it's not true. You can emote, but you can also emote on your terms. And that will sort of break that rigidity cycle. So yeah, that's your March in a nutshell. It really has to do with this emotional control and being too rigid and learning how to manipulate it. It's like you're orchestrating your own emotions and when like giving yourself permission to emote when it's time, and also like learning how to zip it up whenever you don't have to do that. So yeah. Yeah. I hope you have a wonderful March, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on my video, and also watch my video about the other aspects that are happening this month. It was too long to fit it all into 12 individual videos, so have a good month, and I'll see you in April.